PA Loggers, Brews and Reviews.
Hey, it's Homa from PA Loggers, Brews and Reviews, and this is our special Halloween edition where I'll review pumpkin ales. Pumpkin ale used to be my favorite beer. I used to drink it all the time. Not all the time, but I would start in August and I'd drink it right through the winter. And I would get every brand I could. I'd go to Wegmans, I'd get the mix of 6. I'd be drinking pumpkin ales all the time. And I got burnt out on them. So I don't drink pumpkin ales as much anymore. I didn't buy any pumpkin ales this season. I had a couple. I had Smuttynose, I had Post Road, and that was about it. Last season I had a few, but I just got burnt out on pumpkin ales. But I'm going to share with you some of my favorite pumpkin ales over the years. So that'll be coming up. I'm not going to be drinking them. I'm just going to be showing you some of them. And they're not all from PA. Some are from PA, but some are from other states. But I'm sure that's okay. So again, enjoy the Halloween pumpkin ale rundown.
My love affair with pumpkin ales began probably in the late 90s or early 2000s when I first tried Buffalo Bill's Pumpkin Ale. I didn't realize it was the first pumpkin ale, but I really liked it. I really enjoyed its spicy taste. It was a little clovey, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of vanilla, and just had a really nice taste to it. And I used to get this every season. It used to come in these little bottles, these little short bottles, and it was something I looked forward to. I would pick them up at Shangy's every season. Another favorite of mine from the early days of pumpkin ale around the same time period was Smuttynose Pumpkin Ale, which came in very plain packaging, Helvetica typeface, plain bottles that just had a picture of a pumpkin on it. It was a little more crisper tasting, a little more hoppy, tasted more like beer, and had kind of a nutmeg flavor, which was nice. It was a little more bitter alternative to the sweetness of Buffalo Bill's at the time. And another favorite from the early days was Brooklyn Brewery's Post Road. It didn't even show the Brooklyn logo on the label, but it was a favorite during that time. Much like Smuttynose, it was a little more hoppy, a little more beer tasting, not as nutmeggy or spicy as Smuttynose, and sometimes people knock it for that, but I always liked that it tasted like beer. Another early favorite I can remember was Dogfish Head's Pumpkin Ale. Dogfish Head from Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Pumpkin ale was a brown ale, and I liked brown ale, so this was a nice brown ale with pumpkin flavor, so I always enjoyed it, and at 7% alcohol had a little bit of a kick to it, so this was always an enjoyable one. Now, I haven't gotten this recently, but to be honest, if I had a craving for a brown ale, I'd probably pick up a Smuttynose Old Brown Dog Ale. That's my favorite brown ale. I do remember enjoying Wolliver's Pumpkin Ale for a while. It was an organic pumpkin ale, I think from Otter Creek, and I used to pick it up at Wegmans, and then just a couple years ago it disappeared, and I haven't seen it at all, so if anybody's seen it, let me know, but I don't think they make it anymore. And I do recall enjoying Fisherman's Pumpkin Stout from Cape Ann Brewing, only because it was a pumpkin stout, and that was kind of rare. Everything else was pumpkin ales, but this was a darker brew, and it was really nice. And I haven't had this for a while either. That was a nice little walk down memory lane of pumpkin ales of yore, but what have I had recently? Well, one of them was Penn Pumpkin Roll Ale. This was one I enjoyed. I used to pick it up at Wegmans all the time, and it had a nice little sweet character to it, and not too cinnamony, not too spicy, but just a real sweet, caramely kind of flavor to it that I always enjoyed, but also overdid it a little bit because I got a 12-pack one year, and I haven't had it since. Now, this was before I started doing Untapped reviews, so from what I remember, Rosemary's Baby from Two Roads was an excellent pumpkin ale, citrusy and smooth for a beer with a little bit higher of an ABV. I don't remember much about New Holland's Ichabod Pumpkin Ale, other than I liked it and I picked it up a few times. I also used to pick up Johnny Rails from Erie Brewing Company. That was one of my favorites too. Again, I don't remember too much about it. Schlafly Pumpkin Ale was always very highly rated, especially in Beer Advocate, so when I saw cases of it at a beer distributor near me, I picked up a case and I tried it. It was very good for a high ABV of 8%. It was very smooth and very cinnamony and a little bit fruity, but I haven't had it again, and again, I got a little burned out with pumpkin ales, but very cinnamony if you like that. Speaking of cinnamon, one of the least favorite items in the Sam Adams Sweater Weather Variety Pack was the Jacko Pumpkin, which I felt was too much cinnamon for me. Another highly rated pumpkin ale I checked out was Whole Hog's Pumpkin Ale. And again, I felt it was just a little too much cinnamon for me. So if you're into cinnamon, Whole Hog's the beer for you. But very similar to Schlafly in a way, maybe not as fruity as Schlafly. For a darker take on pumpkin ale, Conshy Hawkins' Nightmare on East Elm Street is a very nice pumpkin ale that I enjoyed over the past 2 years. And I enjoyed Wallenpaupack's Pumpkin Ale. Not as much as I did their Oktoberfest or their Fest beer, but like I said, I was getting a little burnt out on pumpkin ales, but it's an excellent pumpkin ale. Everything Wallenpaupack makes is fantastic. And I did revisit some of the old classics. I even had Buffalo Bill's Pumpkin Ale last year, and I didn't like it as much. I felt it was too much cinnamon, too much vanilla, and not enough clove that I remember. It didn't have that spicy little kick that I remembered, so just not the same. I think Brooklyn Ale's Post Road Pumpkin Ale has stood the test of time. At least for me, it still tastes like beer, still has a nice flavor to it, and I still enjoy it. It's not overblown with spices or anything like that, or cinnamon. Really enjoyable ale. And I picked up 2 cases of Smuttynose Pumpkin Ale last year when it finally became available, and I still have 2 6-packs left. I still like the nutmeg taste, I like the spices, I like the fact that it tastes like beer and it's a little hoppy. It can come across a little soapy at times, I'll admit that, but it's still a solid beer that I like to drink in the fall. And they finally updated their packaging, so they have really nice looking cans now. So that's my story of pumpkin ale over the years. I wish I had more pumpkin ales to review for you, but like I said, I did get a little burnt out, and by the looks of shelves and beer distributors, I'm not the only one. I know there was a lot left over in fall of 2021, and I saw discount racks full of pumpkin beers all through the winter, and I know there's even some pumpkin beers from last year that were put on the shelves this year. So I think there was a little oversaturation going on for everyone, not just for me. And I hope that doesn't happen with Oktoberfest beers, because there seems like there's a lot of Oktoberfest beers out there as well. But thanks for checking out PA Loggers, Brews, and Reviews. Hope you have a nice Halloween, and if you have any comments, please leave them in the comments. And you can check out my Instagram at PA_loggers, and I have a new YouTube handle called @PALoggers. So my URL will be youtube.com/@PALoggers. So pass that along for anyone who's interested, and please subscribe if you haven't yet. And check out over 200 reviews at my Untapped profile at RMHoma. That's a nice pills.